So now you're actually, you teach writing at Stanford now too, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I teach writing at City College, San Francisco, Stanford, creative writing classes, writing and crime fiction, even a literature class on detective fiction.
So is this a full-time thing? Is this a part-time thing?
This is part-time. You know, one of the big breaks for me was that moving to California in 2005, I was able to leave teaching high school, which was what I had been doing in Massachusetts, and start teaching part-time college classes so that I could really devote more of my time to writing. And I took a bit of a risk there, making less money and teaching classes, but I like teaching the college classes more. And, you know, being able to wake up every morning and write did huge things for my production. And when I hit a point where the audience was coming to me from the podcast realm saying, we love your stuff, we want to see more of it, I was able to, you know, that just fired me up, and I was able to have that time to work on writing.
Right. So now, you did the podcast version of Jack Wakes Up.
Yeah.
And you're very much, I've come up with this word, author-preneur, to describe people like Sigler, like yourself.
Author-preneur?
Author-preneur.
Author-preneur.
I'm not quite sure, I'm still working on it. But something, you know, a combination of an author and an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And one of the things I said to J.C. Hutchins when he was on the show a couple weeks ago was, you know, you're the sort of person, you act like an internet entrepreneur. But you're also an author. You're sort of a fusion of these two creatures. And most authors in the past have not been, you know, also entrepreneurs and marketers. And now there's new generation of authors that, you know, all of us are sort of a part of, that it's almost becoming that you have to be that in order to survive in the book world. It's starting to look to me that you have to, you know, now you have to do this. And so you and Sigler, I know, have this boot camp that you're doing.
Author boot camp.
Yeah. So where you basically share all the things that you've learned.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, basically, you know, for me, you know, not only is this audience really important in terms of being able to bring it to the agents and publishers and say, I have this audience who wants to buy the book and read it, but, you know, it's really important in terms of even when the book comes out, you need to be able to sell your book yourself. And I think part of the reason that publishers are looking for authors with a platform or who've developed their own audience is because the advertising dollars are shrinking on their end, and the avenues for them to spend those advertising dollars are shrinking as well. So if they can find authors who have their own method of reaching out to people on the internet, they love that. And that's something that we basically have to do in this point in time. Like, I needed to do that to draw attention. And
but what did you guys do? What did you do specifically to drive attention? Did you use Twitter, Facebook, Goodreads? I mean, how did you get the word out about yourself?
Well, basically, it started out with the podcast, and I was putting out the podcast, giving out free audio on my website and on podiobooks.com, having authors like Scott and JC advertise my stuff with. So you got cross
promotion.
Cross promotion. Right. Their established audience listening to the kind of stuff that I was putting out in my 1-minute promos, and then coming over to check it out. And, you know, initially it was really people emailing me who started listening, which was my interaction with the fans. And then ultimately, as the early adopting podcast fans, being pretty close on the cutting edge of tech and internet stuff, they started to get into Twitter and Facebook way before I did, and that I could see pretty early on was a way for me to communicate with them that they were comfortable with. So I started getting profiles on there, and then they sort of pulled me in by using those methods to communicate with me.
So your readers actually are the ones who sort of pulled you into the way to reach more readers.
Completely.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's just a way to communicate with them. It's easier for people, you know, a lot of people I think now use their email for work.
Right.
So for Facebook or Twitter, they can just do whatever they want, and it's personal. And so, you know, doing things like that with them, and doing things like the big plug that Phil Rossi just did on July 9th, and when I did the Palm Sunday with Jack Wakes Up, to announce it, you know, being on Twitter, it's kind of like, it's sort of like your big sporting event where everyone's watching you and you're sort of in the middle of it.
You're broadcasting, so you get a big bullhorn to the world.
Exactly.
So,
and people are interested in you and what you're doing, and everyone's watching to see what number you can get up to on Amazon, and it's it's just exciting.
So this author boot camp, is this one of the things you teach, is how to go about doing this yourself?
Yeah, so Scott and I have been teaching this class independently through authorbootcamp.com. And
so how do people sign up? People sign up at the site.
Yeah, people sign up.
Is it a day-long thing? Like
it's 2 days long. We've been doing it Friday and Saturday. We've done it twice in San Francisco, where we bring people in for 2 days, 9 to 5, and we really just show them. Everyone brings their laptop, and we show them all the tools that we use. We have them record, edit their stuff. We have them create a sample podcast and put it up on
So you teach them how to do
hosting.
audiobooks.
We teach them how to do audiobooks. We set up their feed so that it goes and streams right into iTunes.
Yep.
And we show them how to do all this stuff and how to promote it and how to use our social networking tools. Because having found the audience that we've found and seen what this has done for us as writers, both in terms of being able to publish, but also in terms of validation and making us excited about what we're doing, we want to be able to spread that to other authors. So we've taught that twice now through our own authorbootcamp.com. This fall, we'll be teaching it in November through Stanford.
Wow, so
on
that's
that'll be through Stanford as a workshop on 2 Saturdays in November. And then we're also invited to come speak at a Writer's Digest conference in New York in September, where we'll be talking about what we've done there.
And what inspired you to do this? Was it just a desire to share what you know, or to become thought leaders in the space? Or what was the thinking?
Scott and
how this arise?
I mean, basically, Scott did this for me when I wanted to come in. He emailed my friend emailed him, and Scott said, if I work with you, I can save you a month or more of pain. And so I worked with Scott. We went back and forth on iChat. He showed me how to do all this stuff, and it was great. And so since then, I've been looking to give that back to other authors as sort of a pay-it-forward kind of method.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And, you know, we wanted to organize the Author Bootcamp so that we could have a central place where we were doing this, and it was organized around a central class structure so that people could come in all at once and we could teach them the stuff that we're talking about. And so, you know, going forward, you know, geography-wise, our goal is just to get it online. It makes sense to have it online so that we can check people's websites and see, are you linking your episodes here and there? And, you know, it's all online anyway. So we're going to bring the class online and start teaching it through our website there and make it open to everyone no matter where you are.
Now, how many people have you had in the in-person classes so far?
We've had about, the 2 classes have each been about 8 to 10 students. We've had some great writers, some people who are publishing with St. Martin's, Berkeley Press, which is part of Penguin. We had one of my former teachers, Brad Watson, who was nominated for a National Book Award when his second novel came out with Norton.
Yeah.
We've had some great writers come in, and also some total podcast lovers who are novices in the writing field and want to get their stuff out there. And it's just great to show them the tools and sort of walk them through that process.
Yeah, that's a great thing you guys are doing.